Okay, so if you guys are watching this, then that's because I am sick and I'm not able to make it to class. So that's rather unfortunate, and I do apologize for that. Trust me, I really, 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 really wanted to be there for y'all today. I was excited to come back, but not feeling so great, so had to stay home. So hopefully I'll be back tomorrow for you guys, but just to start off, my name is Mrs. Maynor. Most of you already know me, so normally I go through and do like a whole little introduction thing, but most of you have seen that before, if not multiple times already. So I'm not gonna go into like getting to know me too much. If you guys have had me in a class before, then you guys kind of know the layout and who I am and what the spiel is, so feel free to share that with your classmates who may have not had me before. But remember that I shall return, so whatever you tell them, I will end up hearing. Alright, so I would ask you guys to please open Moodle to the Introduction to Engineering Pltw Maynor Semester 2 page. For those of you who have had me as a teacher before, you know that I put absolutely everything on Moodle. So, everything we're doing on a day-to-day basis, any homework, turning things in. I don't really do paper assignments. So everything's going to be put onto Moodle about what we're doing. Any handouts I give you, any PowerPoints I make, those are all going to be available to you on Moodle. If at any point I don't give you something and you want it, you are more than welcome to have it. So all you have to do is send me an email and be like, hey, can you update Moodle? And I would be happy to do that. Please remember that at any time during this video, you can pause the video. So like I want everyone to have Moodle open because we're about to do something to kind of set up the course. So if you need to have the sub or have someone pause the video so that you guys can make sure that everyone's up to date, feel free to do that at any time. So the first thing that I want to talk about is just kind of the intention of the course. So it's Introduction to Engineering Pltw. We're going to talk about Pltw in just a second. So if we click on Unit 1.1, and remember that you probably won't show other sections because this is the teacher version, so those are future units. But if you click on Unit 1.1, you'll see everything that we have today. So all the information that you need is going to be right here. So Pltw is something that I brought up and I said we'll talk about it. So Pltw is Project Lead the Way. This is something that you guys will know for sure by the end of the semester. Is this Pltw? Because just like kind of the computer programming and cybersecurity, if you had me for that. So basically what we did is, we being Valley Christian Schools, we went out and we found an engineering class that other people have put together, that Project Lead the Way has put together, and I will be teaching it to you. So that means that we need access to their materials in order to complete the course. So the first thing that I want us to do today is make sure that we can all log into Pltw. This is essentially going to be our online textbook. You are going to need to have access to this. So the Pltw usernames, either of the blue links, if I push it. So these are all public to everyone right now. I did not choose your usernames. They were automatically generated, so how your name was broken up or what numbers are at the end, I had no part in that. So just make sure that you know your username, and when we go to log in, I do recommend that you save that to your iPad because this is something we're going to be using quite a bit, and so I am requiring that you have access to your username and password on any given day, because if you don't, then you may not be able to complete either a homework assignment or you may lose participation for not being able to access the necessary materials. Think of it like bringing a textbook to class. I know you guys don't carry around physical textbooks anymore, but hypothetically, if you had a math textbook and they said do problems 1 through 13 and you didn't have your textbook, then you wouldn't be able to do the problems, right? So this is the version of the textbook that we're going to need. So these usernames are posted on Moodle, so everyone can see them. There's nothing private about the usernames, so make sure that you find yours. If there's someone on here who is no longer taking the class, then that's super easy to remove them as a student, and I'll make sure to do that. If you have joined the class, but I have not given you login information yet. That is no problem either. Please make sure to send me an email. Also remember that my email is going to be Adams, so you see up here that my name is Taylor Adams in some places. So long story short, I got married. I go by both Adams and Maynor. Everyone calls me Maynor. So that's what you'll be calling me in class, but my email is tadams@valleychristianaz.org. So just be aware of that if you need to get in contact with me. So where do we use these usernames and what do we need them for? So everyone's going to go to pltw.org and we're going to log in. The passwords that you need to know are this right here. Everyone right now has the same exact password. So this is VCS lowercase and then capital IED. This stands for Introduction to Engineering Design 22. So remember that that's the name of this class, Introduction to Engineering Design, so IED 2020, or just 22. So let's all go to my pltw.org and you should get a screen like this. This is where you're going to put your username. It does have right here, note, this is not your email address. So please, 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 please do not put in your email address and then tell me that it's not working, because it specifically says this is not your email address. This is going to be the place where you put in your username that has been assigned to you, which is some combination of your first name, last name, and those random numbers. Also, please excuse my sniffles and nasally voice because, like I said, I am sick. So, I have my username, and I'll put in my password, if I can remember it. There we go. Remember, everyone's password is going to start off as VCSIED22. And I do want to say, too, that if you guys run into any problems, please try to troubleshoot on your own. You guys are very, very capable of figuring things out. And I know this is new, but I'm going to show you what we're trying to do. There are all these buttons down here. I've never seen the student version. To my understanding, you should have login information, and that should not be a problem. So hopefully this works as planned. If not, we will figure it out tomorrow, I promise. So we're going to push sign in. So this is going to load, like I said, essentially your digital textbook. Hopefully, let's see if I can get it to load something here. There we go. So again, if your screen looks a little bit different than mine, don't panic because I do have the teacher label. So there's a good chance that you may not have some of the features that I have. If you do have courses, that's what we're going to want to click on. It should open in a new tab. And this is going to show us our library. You should have PLTW Engineering. And when you see these, you will not see the teacher one because that's me, not you. General Student Resources and Introduction to Engineering Design. These two are yours to explore, figure out. There's going to be links to the resources from the textbook, so this is essentially going to be your textbook. These should be the only things you have in there right now. In the future, if you wanted to star something, you can star it, but these are the only three that I have in here right now. The reason it leaves room for more is because in PLTW Engineering, they actually have multiple courses that we could offer at VCS if we wanted to. So we'll go ahead and click on the middle one, the Introduction to Engineering Design. So this is where I want to take a minute to kind of explain what is this class, so that hopefully you guys can get an idea of why you're here, what we're going to be doing, and make sure that this is something you're interested in. So many of you know that I teach a freshman engineering class. Please note that this is not that. So my freshman engineering class is a required class. This class is not required, it's an elective. My freshman engineering class does not have any homework or tests. That is not true in this class. You will have homework and you will have tests or summative projects. And the other thing is that in the freshman engineering class, everything is pretty much based on participation. Again, this is going to be way more advanced than just can you build a prototype satellite. Like that's something that we do in the freshman class. And here we're going to be using some pretty serious supplies and tools and things like that. So if you're someone who likes to build or construct things with your hands, if you're someone who likes to draw or sketch, this is going to be a great class for you to kind of explore and understand how to use those skills well in the STEM field. This is a class, guys, that most people do not get the chance to ever take. So most schools do not offer an engineering class. So the fact that you guys even have the opportunity to do something like this, to me is really cool. And if you're interested in any way in a STEM field, then I think this is something that is really going to kind of set you above when you guys go to apply for colleges and that kind of thing. So it's not just introduction to engineering, it's introduction to engineering design. So what the focus of this class is going to be is we are going to be looking at how to put things together so that they'll be successful. You guys know, if you've done literally anything in science, that a lot of science is trial and error. It doesn't work, you try to make it better, and so that's kind of the process that you do multiple times. This is something we talk about in my freshman class. So, just because it doesn't work and you want to make it better, just because that doesn't work doesn't mean that you didn't try to make it work. So the main difference, the main thing that you guys are going to be challenged on in this class is to try to design something that you think will be successful and tell me why you think it's going to be successful. So for example, if we have a catapult that is trying to hit a target, then, which is going to be our first unit, hint hint, then you need to design a catapult in such a way that you know it will be able to hit the target. And now if that goes terribly, that's okay. That's science. But the idea is that we are learning how to design these experiments. We're learning how to design things that we think will be successful. So if you came in here and you're like, yeah, I like to throw random things together and hope it works, that's good. But please know that that is not what this class is going to be like. You guys are not just going to be given like drills and tools and materials and be like, okay, go figure it out, good luck. That is not at all what this class is going to be. So if you are someone who enjoys the sketching and the building things, like hands-on kind of aspect of things, that's great, but please know that there is a very scientific and mathematical component to this class. The math is not expected to be difficult, but it may push you in some ways because it's applied math. So it's not just solve for x, it's figuring out if we have this distance and this arc, how do we know where it's going to land, kinds of things. We're also going to be using Excel spreadsheets quite a bit to store our data and make calculations. So that's something that you should feel comfortable with. So I hope that you guys are starting to understand that this class it's going to be a fun class in a lot of ways because we get to build a lot of cool things and do a lot of really fun projects, but it's not a goof-off class, and it is not a class where I will tolerate you guys not following instructions, because we are going to be working with power drills, we are going to be working with saws, we are going to be working with these kinds of equipment and tools that, if used incorrectly, is potentially dangerous. So if you are in this class and you're staying in this class, then please be prepared to handle those things with maturity and responsibility. Otherwise, we will be having conversations with administration, parents, and whoever else may be needed. So this class has 4 different units. So in this semester, we are going to be covering hopefully all of Unit 1 and all of Unit 2. There is a lot of content in this class, so if I don't get through all of Unit 2, I wouldn't completely be surprised, but we're going to do our best to hit at least all of the main topics. So Unit 1 and Unit 2. Unit 3 and Unit 4 are going to be offered probably next year in an Engineering Design 2 class. So if you get through this class and you're like, that was really fun, and I want to continue this, then you will be able to take a Engineering Design 2 class where you're able to go into the contents of Unit 3 and Unit 4. So if we look over here on the left, you'll see the menu of all these different things. You can see that these things can be, let's see, notebook, glossary, okay, perfect. So, oh, that's what it is. My library is going to take us back. There we go. I'm going to open the middle one. All right. So I encourage you guys to kind of mess around with the different features and where to click and how to find things. We're going to start in Unit 1. So if you click Lesson 1.1, it'll have all these drop downs, and you see that Lesson 1.1 is not actually just one lesson. It is actually many lessons, and most of these things will take us multiple days. So we have 1.1.1, 1.1.2, etc., all the way down to 1.1.5. You can see that some of these are labeled activity, and this one is labeled a project. So our projects are where we're going to get our summative grades. So remember, summative is like the equivalent of a test. So our summative grades will largely come in the form of projects for this class. So you guys are going to be ultimately designing a carnival game. Feel free to read ahead as much as you want, but I will make sure that we have us paced on a specific schedule, so that you guys are not going to be starting this like tomorrow or anything. We're going to be starting with the steps, and you're going to see how things really start to build on each other. So your carnival game, like I said, is going to be your summative assignment, and so you're going to see all these things that you're going to actually have to do for that summative assignment. So this is going to be a project that is going to take a decent amount of time and effort, but you'll have multiple days in class to do it. So I just wanted you to know kind of what that summative category is going to look like. If we go to 1.1.1, activity 1.1.1, this is where we're going to get some of our homework, some of our formative assignments. So sometimes our formative assignments are going to be reading, and you guys take a reading quiz. Sometimes our formative assignments are going to be, well, you guys need to do these calculations on the data you took today. That kind of thing in an Excel spreadsheet. Sometimes your formative assignments are going to be answering a series of questions about what you did or what you're going to do. Sometimes your formative assessment might be sketching. So this is going to be kind of the format of the class. So it's a little bit different from other classes in that it's not math, where you have a set of problems pretty much every night that you do to practice what you learn, or history, where you answer a bunch of questions based on reading and text. It's going to vary quite a bit. So this is going to be 1.1.1, and this is going to be where we start. So we will work with all of these materials, and I have these all available to you. I will tell you that this is the first time that I'm teaching this class. So in terms of equipment, what we need, how to find it, how to set things up, a lot of this is going to be us learning together. So I hope that you guys are, one, okay with that, and two, like kind of excited about that we get to kind of figure things out in a fun way, because in reality, like, that's the real world. That's science, where you design things and it doesn't work and you're like, oh, this is how we do things better. So there will definitely be a component of that to this kind of class as a whole as well. So you'll see that the first thing in 1.1.1 is just a bunch of reading until we get down to the instant challenge. And the instant challenge is going to be creating our first catapult, creating our first way to launch a small beanbag. So then we're going to be working on representing our data and moving on to answering some questions. And then 1.1.2 over here says iterate and redesign. So we're going to work through this in steps for sure. But your homework tonight is to read creativity and design. If you are doing that right now, please wait until the end of the video. You will probably have time at the end of class here, so that you can read. Also, you are going to have a reading quiz over these few paragraphs. So what you have to read is creativity and design. You'll start here, and you will read all the way down until the instant challenge. So you guys will read all of this. Okay? Oh, I'm sorry. All right. Everything that's highlighted in blue is what I expect you to read. Your reading quiz tomorrow is only going to be like 3 questions, and it's not going to be asking you to like answer really, really, really specific things. It's going to be making sure that you read what you were supposed to read. So don't panic about it. If you're the person that comes out and you're like, I read it, but I got a 1 out of 3, don't panic, because there's lots of opportunities for your grade to go up. It'll probably be 3 to 5 questions. So just make sure that you read that and you come in tomorrow. The quiz will be closed note because it'll be a reading quiz. and it will be timed so that you don't have all day to think about things either. So don't be surprised by that. Like I said, this is not a gimme class, so I do expect you guys to go home and read this. It's not hard, so I know that you guys can handle it. So with that, let me go back to Moodle. Read creativity and design, everything before the instant challenge box, reading quiz 1.1.1 tomorrow. Hopefully I will be back tomorrow to get us started on our engineering design notebooks. We are going to be talking about those and figuring out what those are and why we use them and how to use them. So go ahead and spend the rest of the class reading through this and kind of just figuring out what Pltw looks like. You'll see that there are actually no assignments in here, sometimes boxes to fill out, questions but nowhere to put an answer. So everything you turn in is going to be on Moodle like always, in addition to your engineering design notebook. So go ahead and get your reading done and get to know each other, and I will see you guys tomorrow. All right, bye.